All right, my office is a disaster, but this is the Helios 442. It is a 58mm f2 camera lens made in the USSR. Let's talk about it. I purchased this lens probably about 3 months ago, and it took about 2 months to get to me. I got it from Ukraine, so it did come from Ukraine, so that is why it took so long to get here. And when it arrived here, I fell absolutely in love with this thing. This is the most affordable cinematic camera lens that I have ever used in my entire life. So worth the wait, and so incredibly grateful to have this in my collection of camera lenses now. I would love to talk to you guys a little bit about it and my experience and why I love this thing so much. So to start out, it's super compact, as you guys can see, very small. It fits in the palm of my hand, and I think it's really built well. I think that the quality of this camera lens is so solid. It feels honestly heavier and better built than a lot of camera lenses in today's world. I feel like a lot of camera lenses nowadays, you don't get this metal build factor, and it feels really nice and solid, and I'm not worried about throwing it into my bag and breaking. I mean, it's already lived probably about 50 years now, and so what's another 50 years to something like this? So I really enjoy that. The buying point of this lens is the bokeh. If you guys have not bokeh, one of the two. If you guys have not ever seen videos, here's some test footage of this camera lens and how cinematic it can make an image look. The reason you are buying this lens is not because it is the sharpest, most updated, best piece of equipment you could ever buy. You are buying this lens for the characteristics that it brings to your cinematography and photography. That's why I bought it. That's why most people go looking for this lens, is because they're not looking for the best out there. They're looking for the characters that this lens brings to the table. And this lens brings very different characteristics than a lot of normal lenses that I've used. Some things that I've noticed when using this lens, especially when shooting wide open, is that it gives a really interesting fall off to the contrast of the image. So images feel less contrasty and more kind of glowy. They give kind of this feel, this atmosphere where you're not in this super, even in harsh light, they still feel kind of like you're in a hallucination or a weird vintage world. And I love that. I love the quality that it gives. I want all my videos to look like that. I think this is the piece of equipment that I've been searching for a long time, and finally it's in my possession, which is really exciting. Another huge reason people get this lens is because of the way that the depth of field looks. The bokeh, like I talked about before, looks insane with this lens. So much so that I actually purchased a UV filter so that I could stop this down and keep it wide open while shooting, because I wanted to shoot video with this, and I want to shoot it during the day, and I want it to look the way that this footage looks, because it's absolutely incredible. It's nothing like any other camera lens that I have ever used. Manually focusing this lens is actually really easy. I've been having a breeze with it. It feels like I'm kind of zone focusing when I'm using it, and shooting at wide open at f2, and I'm still able to really nail focus a lot of the times, especially with a modern camera. I can turn my striping on my Sony A1 and really nail in the focus. And even if I'm not nailing in the focus, it just kind of builds to the character of why this lens is so monumental and interesting to use. Some of the cons of this lens, you do have to buy a lot of mounts. So this is an M42 mount lens, meaning you screw on a standard screw-on mount. I had to get an M42 mount to Sony adapter to be able to use it, and then I also had to get the UV filter. So all in all, I ended up paying probably about $100 for the lens, and then with the mounts and variable ND filter, I paid about probably another $150 for all of that. But for what you get with this lens, that's actually really reasonable in my opinion. I think it's super reasonable to pay for that. There's a lot of different models of the 442. I personally think that the model that I purchased is the one that I really wanted. I'm not exactly sure what this model is, but it's the one with the green text and green focusing mechanisms, and you can lock the aperture ring, and I'm really blown away by this. I bought it on eBay. It feels new to me. It's like a new lens to me. Obviously, there's some wear and tear from just having it be alive for so long, but I'm really fascinated by this, and I can't wait to create more and more. I've been using it for the past week, and one thing I can say is that this lens really makes me want to pick up my camera more and create more. It kind of has brought new life into my cinematography, specifically. Photography, I still haven't used it very much, but as far as video goes, I am in love with this lens. It's making me want to shoot video of everything as opposed to do any sort of photography with it. So that's really exciting because that's new to me. I'm usually a photo camera guy taking pictures all the time. So to be doing video instead most of the time is it's a switch up, but it's really exciting and it's good for these YouTube videos because I get a lot more B-roll than I normally would. I really like this thing. Some of the cons is that it is a manual focus lens. That's obviously going to be the deal with all vintage lenses that you get and have to convert onto your camera. So it is manual focus. And other than that, it just took a really long time to find a good copy of. But I really love this lens. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I would be honored to answer any questions that you guys have. And again, like, comment, subscribe. It's really helpful for the channel. Helps me out. Helps me make these videos more often. And I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.